Alright, welcome back for yet another exciting look at the Star Trek The Official Starship Collection. This time featuring issue 32, the Runabout. So here's the magazine. Here's the ship in all its boxing glory. So we'll put that aside here and we'll get right back to this. So we have the magazine here with a super awesome cover with the ship on it. What else would be on the cover, right? Awesome cover here. Looks almost like the studio model. So let's jump into it. It is the Danube class Runabout. Even though it says Starfleet Runabout there. Launched in the 24th century. 23.1 meters, maximum speed, warp 5, which I think is incorrect. It's not warp 5, it's warp 4, if I remember correctly. Have to go back and take a look at that in the Starfleet technical manual, Deep Space Nine tech manual, and the Star Trek encyclopedia, which I should know because I've read that A to Z when I was younger. But anyway. So turning the page here, we got our table of contents and our specification page, and a particular note here at the bottom, Eaglemoss's advertisement of their website where you can order individual issues, binders, etc. Okay, it's operated by Starfleet, which will be the United Federation of Planets. Danube class, constructed in 2365, launched 2368. 3 years later, 23.1 meters, crew approximately 2 to 4, maximum speed warp 5. I'm just going to say warp 4 until corrected. Its weaponry is 4 phaser arrays and one micro torpedo launcher. Turning the page, great info on the ship, as well as the image seen on the cover there. Same picture, bigger though. And there's an image of the cockpit there. More images of the ship, some from the episodes, and another CGI rendering here, as well as more info. We have our usual splash page, as well as an image from the Next Generation, and the only episode that the Runabout has appeared in, I think it's called Timescape, if I'm not mistaken. This is the rear compartment that we see in the back here, back area here. We normally don't get to see that much, or we never got to see that much of it in DS9, the show in which the ship was seen the most in. But in the one episode of the Next Generation, we actually saw it, the rear compartment. Turning the page, and we have the designing of the Runabout and its humble origins, dating back to the Space Dock shuttle, as seen in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Even though that particular model and ship was later redressed and reused in the Star Trek Next Generation episode Relics, in which James Doohan and Scotty returned. They added some movie-style old warp nacelles to the model and made it look a little bit different, and flipped it upside down, I think. And there's the familiar shuttlecraft from the original series. Some conceptual art, some of which I have seen before. It's appeared in the Deep Space Nine technical manual, and I believe it's also appeared in the book that was about the series. I think it's called The Making of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So I think some of this art was in there. Oh, and you can see how the Runabout is generally supposed to operate, or it's got these little individual compartments that can be used for different mission profiles. And here's the roll bar, but I'll touch on that subject in a minute. More conceptual art, getting closer and closer to the final design. And the section on the building and filming of the studio model of the Runabout. Here's the famous picture that has appeared in just about every publication of Star Trek in the past, at least whenever the Runabout has ever been mentioned. And here's a picture of the model. The model again. More images there. And here is the first CGI rendering of the model as seen in the episode Change of Heart, when the ship was kind of navigating in and out of an asteroid field. And the on-screen page. It's like every other episode of Deep Space Nine. It's appeared in the Next Generation in one episode called Timescape. It's appeared all over Deep Space Nine, especially in the opening credits of the show. Its final appearance, the last time it was seen, was in the last episode of What You Leave Behind. And interestingly enough, the Runabout Yellowstone, as featured in Star Trek Voyager in the episode Non Sequitur in the alternate universe timeline. Interestingly enough, that was not even mentioned in this magazine. I have read this one before. It was not mentioned in the magazine, oddly enough, even though the design is pretty much the same, with some different engines and components and so on and so forth. So anyway, its key appearance was in the episode Emissary, which was the pilot episode of Deep Space Nine. Its also key appearances were in the Maquis Part 1 and 2, and I believe Past Dialogue, and One Little Ship, and so on and so forth. These are episodes which heavily relied on the use of the Runabout. I think the Maquis was probably one of the best because you actually got to see it in battle. The Jem'Hadar at the end of Season 2 was also a good episode for the Runabout to be featured in, for those of you that are interested. I believe there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are like 12 or 13 Runabout names that I can think of. And interestingly enough, they're all named after Earth rivers. So starting with the name, the class of the ship Danube is, for my European friends, you should be familiar with the Danube River, which I have to point out is not blue like the song and like the piece of music says it is, but it's actually green. But that's beside the point. The Runabout names featured on DS9 were the Runabout Gander, the Ganges, the Rio Grande, the Rubicon, the Mekong, the Yangtze Kiang, the Volga, the Shenandoah, and then let me see what else. Oh, the Yukon. And I think I've got them all. And our patron Runabout, the one that we have in front of us, the Orinoco. So anyway, that's the Runabout there. Picture there from One Little Ship, one being blown to bits. Next month, in January 2015, the year of Back to the Future, for those of you who don't know that. This is the Cardassian Hideki class, which we will be seeing soon. So I look forward to getting that in next month's shipment. So on the back, we have an image of the ship, which is cool, but the keen observator will know that the roll bar is missing from here, unless I can't see it. But there's your magazine. I'm sorry, did I just make a goop? It's not. Yeah, anyway. Excuse me. So that's the magazine, and here's the ship. Runabout! In the box as usual. So let's open this puppy up. It's got the usual stand. Danube class Runabout. First impressions. Ah, ooh, cool. There it is. Nice detail there. Got your warp nacelles, your Starfleet insignia on the bottom. Got your NCC registry 72905 there. USS Orinoco seen on the side there. The camera won't focus, but that's what it says. Pretty damn cool. I was really looking forward to this. The Runabout has always been a favorite ship of mine on DS9. And growing up was probably one of the ones I played with the most whenever I had one. This is a ship that has seen a release before, not this particular Runabout because this is the Orinoco. The Runabout that has seen releases in various guises is the one that everybody is familiar with, the Rio Grande, which is, interestingly enough, the only Runabout that has survived the entire run of Deep Space Nine. It was featured in the first episode, and it made it all the way through Season 7, and it was in the last episode of the series. So, this is the Runabout Orinoco. This ship was destroyed in an episode called Our Man Bashir, I think, by a terrorist extremist group called the True Way. So yeah, a particular note I mentioned earlier that I would go back to the subject is the roll bar seen here. I'm really happy that Eaglemoss put this roll bar on. I've always wanted that ever since I was a kid. Even got the Starfleet insignia up there. Again, I've always wanted this since I was a kid, with the roll bar, and it's got that little micro torpedo launcher in there. You can see it, and all that kind of stuff. There's some debate on whether or not this roll bar is actually like a sensor pod, a torpedo launcher, extra cargo module, sensors, whatever. I think it's more of a sensor pod / torpedo launcher. And from what I remember in the text about the ship, the real reason that it was put there was so that fans and viewers would be able to distinguish from one Runabout from another if there's a chase, episode with a chase sequence, or whenever there are two Runabouts on screen, they wanted to be able to identify, viewers to be able to identify which is which, and which characters were on board and using them. So, again, this is the Orinoco, one of several Runabouts. This one was destroyed, again, as I said in that episode. So yeah, I'm really happy to have this Runabout of this scale. Even more to have it with the roll bar, and I'm glad that it is not the Rio Grande. As I stated before, this ship, the Runabout, has been released before in several different guises. The one I remember the most is the Micro Machines, which is about that big. Later on, Furuta came out with a version that is slightly smaller than this, with similar detail, but not as much as this. And the Hallmark Christmas ornament, which I think I have here. Here's the Hallmark Christmas ornament of the same thing. This one is actually the Rio Grande. Getting my Christmas tree today, so we'll probably connect this puppy later. So this is the Christmas tree ornament and the Eaglemoss model for comparison. So yeah, here's the Runabout Orinoco. I like it. I think the metal part is at the bottom, or is it? No, that's plastic, and the metal's the top. I think my only beef with this is the fact that Eaglemoss did not put the usual plastic clear blue for the warp nacelle grills. I was a little disappointed in that, but overall I'm very happy with it. This is one of two Runabouts that I have now. Again, as those of you who will remember, I cheated and I got one early because I wanted it so bad. So I have 2 now, and I think maybe I'll remove the roll bar from it, and that will, to add a little variety to the collection, I guess. So yeah, that's the Runabout Orinoco and the stand as I showed you at the bottom there. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, next month we'll be covering the Hideki class, and I think whatever else comes with that. So, to those of you here in the States and abroad, I wanted to wish you all a very, very happy holidays, and a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. So, be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't drink and drive. Don't do anything like that. Please be safe. Spend time with your loved ones. Be safe and kind to your budgets, of course. And I'll catch you guys all next year, which will be January 2015. So, bye for now.